Hello? Um, Sorry, my last stream was kind of screwed up. Give me a second. I'm gonna actually just take that one down. Give me 1 second. Oh my gosh, it's so hot today. Let's see, content. All right. Sorry about the inconvenience. There was some technical issues. All right, let's see. Sorry about that. All right. Sorry about the inconvenience. There was... Hello! Nice to see you again. Alright, let's see. I don't want to just see top messages. Alright. Hello. So, let's get back to doing 1,000 plateaus. Alright. Okay. Well, it looks like we're in a better situation than we were last time, so... Gamer core. Oh, that's right. Right before I came in today, I was kind of having like this paranoid rant about how much I hate Nintendo. That's kind of random. To start the stream with like, yeah, you know, fuck Mario. Although I will admit it's really funny that like so much discourse is now intertwined with like the madness that is the signifiers of Luigi. Like the fucking amount of puns that this shit causes now is just like insane. It's like, okay, I can't kill him. No, I can't do that. All right. Lots of beef when I need it. I have seen like the grayed out forests. Those are pretty cool looking. Hello. Do I have any wheat? Oh, I do have 2 bales, which will get me, what, 6 bread? Yeah. I can do math in my head. That's right. I'm a calculator. I think it's kind of funny. I just realized that, like, technology in the last, like, 60 years has gone from being able to automate, like, a calculator, like doing all these math problems on a machine that barely takes any energy at all. So, like, actually more energy efficient than a human, probably. Right? And then now we can ask ChatGPT for, like, a 75% chance that it gives us the right answer. And it costs, like, 10,000 times as much as it does for a human to, like, process that through in calories. I think that's just fantastic. It's kind of like when people saw like it's kind of like as if people saw like people building like computers in Minecraft and thought, you know what, we should have all of our computers run on Minecraft, because if all of our computers are running on Minecraft, I don't just mean like the Minecraft is running on the computers. It's already running on the computers. I mean, like, you can build computers in Minecraft and then just have everything running on Minecraft computers. And you're like, no, I don't want to do that. That's like 3 levels of abstraction and it runs like shit, and they're like, okay, but if we had like a super duper computer, it would run just as well as your grandma's Lotus 97 application. And you're like, and it's weird because like people are impressed by that. Yeah. Do any of you younglings know about Lotus 123 and Lotus 97 and all that shit? Is that too old for me? Oh my god, no. Stop saying those words. You have to be careful with what words you put into the world, because they can produce things beyond yourself. You know? I still think it's really funny that, like, was it like right before or like right after they captured Luigi, that Nintendo put out that tweet that was like, free him, and then it's just like, this tweet has been deleted. Funniest shit ever. Please tell me that was real and not just made up because somebody thought it would be funny. You don't remember Lotus. I remember Lotus. It was like... I don't remember very much about it. It was just kind of like Word. But some people... It was more popular for some reason. I mean, I was a little babby when it was out. Wait, what did Nintendo say? I completely forgot what I said. Nintendo is like... yeah, Nintendo is definitely my least favorite large game company by far. Like, they're all bad, they're all shit, and I hate, like, I can't think of a single game company that isn't like a small indie thing that I don't just despise on the top of my head. But like, at least I can play Minecraft, unlike most of these games. Most of these games make me want to throw up. I can't. I have like no ability to handle motion. It's weird. I also have the same problem on same problem with public transport. But yeah, no, Nintendo is like the worst one. Like, oh my god. So something that's been kind of making me paranoid lately is, so there's these ads going around where they're trying to show the Switch 2, and I'm just gonna say it right now, okay? The Switch 2 is like, look, I'm not saying it's a bad console. I don't know anything about like the specs or the technicals of like why somebody would want a Switch 2, but like, as somebody who has thought on and off about getting a Switch and never did, just because like it wasn't really in my cards, and I didn't, oh, this could be a Plateau, but it's nighttime, but I have a bed. But, yeah, so, like, the Switch 2 kind of just seems, like, really boring, in my opinion. Like, I don't really see the appeal of it. I feel like it's more like a way to, like... I feel like, Nintendo's trying to Appleize. So, like, they've always been about having their own ecosystem in general, so that's not surprising. But, it's just, like... There's nothing interesting about it, you know? Like, it's just it's just a Switch with higher resolution. Like, who care? Who really care? Like, just make your games less fucking shitty. Have you thought about that? Like, optimize your games? Like, I was reading that I didn't watch the video, but a video popped up on my feed saying that apparently the Switch 2 makes speed running Pokemon Scarlet and Violet easier, and it's like, that's the stupidest freaking thing. Like, why not just make the game work properly on release? Like, why not just scale the game for the hardware? That's what you guys did in the 90s. Well, to be fair, Game Freak has always been kind of a dodgy developer, but like, they're a huge studio now. They do not operate the same way that they did in the 90s. Oh, I'm just like rambling about stupid video game shit. I was going on about how much I don't like Nintendo, because I was thinking today, one of the things I really appreciate about Guattari actually is like his piracy streak, which sounds like a really funny thing, but like, I was a ROM hacker. That's how I got into programming. Like, I wanted to learn how to program before, but I didn't really have any resources, and ROM hacking was how I learned how to do it. So, ROM hacking is a very, like, gray area. We would distribute patches and stuff, and we'd just be like, okay, well, you need to find the ROM on your own. And, yeah, I mean, I'm sure people who watch are familiar with ROM hacking, but it's so stupid. Like, oh my god, like, the worst part about it too is they're really incorporating like into the hardware like all of their like super like hostile shit that they introduced into the Switch's um like business model. So like a big thing that we saw with the Switch was this like experimentation with like the internet service, which is easily the shittiest one offered by all the gaming services. And it's frustrating because Nintendo gets away with it because, one, they have an extremely loyal fan base, and two, they also have interesting hardware peripherals. Like, it's really hard to, Oh, yeah, that was a real big bummer. He said he's alright, that's a good thing. But things just happened in his schedule and shit, but it's best for him to say for himself, but that's what he told me. So I was a little worried at first because I know like everything's so chaotic right now, but he's doing all right. He just can't do it. He just can't make it. That's a real bummer too. He's one of my I like him. I think he's a good YouTuber. I will say this about this new Minecraft update. The while I like the firefly bushes, ooh, plateaus. I hope I didn't do these ones already. That would be really cool if I found some new plateaus today. Because we have not seen plateaus in a few episodes, and we've had some bad luck. But oh, well, first there's a ship here. But yeah, going back to how much I hate Nintendo. So, like, it's kind of funny because when I was working at GameStop, so I don't work at GameStop anymore because, like, to put it bluntly, I think they saw, like, the writing on the wall with the Switch 2 release and the tariffs. And, like, they were cutting hours up the ass. There was no way they were going to be able to retain their current employees if they didn't cut me, which was really unfortunate. And I'm pretty sure... Ooh, I got armor trims. Oh, interesting. Very cool. And I don't have to go underwater for any of this. Nice. I can do a lot with this. I could even get, like, a water bucket. That would be really good. But yeah, what the... There we go. But yeah, so, like, I don't have a job anymore, and that's really unfortunate. And, yeah... I'm probably gonna have to start e-begging soon. Not looking forward to that. But yeah, so yeah, basically, it was funny because when I was working there, I was telling like, it looks fake. I don't really care that much. It does like feel weird for like the look. I think that the animals I have a bigger problem with because like they wanted to keep the like iconic animals that we're all familiar with in like the moderate zones, but like then they went with this like completely different style for the winter and hot ones, and it's just like they don't like these are harder to see against the background. Like with regular pigs, right, I can see immediately that there are pigs in the area, but these guys blend in. And, like, okay, a brown sheep will blend in too, and I don't really mind that so much, but, like, with the pigs and, like, all these other animals, they just blend in with the terrain. I think it's a really bad art design choice. The firefly bushes aren't as bad. I wish they looked... I think they would have looked nicer if they were, like, more green than, like, yellow, but I don't think they're that bad. It's the animals that I don't like. I think that's the reason why I don't like them. Like these pigs, it's really hard to. I mean, I called them pigs. I know they're cattle, but it's hard to tell them apart from the pigs from a distance for me. It just bothers me when I see these kind of UI design choices because it's like a lot of these could be resolved by just like consulting like the final product with stuff like that. Because like one of the things that actually like causes me issues in video games and just in general is that it's really hard for me to tell things apart sometimes, especially in like a virtual space. And my brain is always trying to figure out where things are. So let me add that plateau real quick. I forgot to do that. Where is it? What? Why is it not showing anymore? That's weird. Oh, it's because I switched. Give me a second. It will fix. Give me 1 second. I just need to fix the plateau counter. Alright, it should show again. There we go. Sorry about that. Nothing happened. Don't believe me, I didn't miss anything. Except for this cherry blossom biome. Which I think was a good addition. I think the cherry biome is a good addition. Ooh! Okay. These wolves I can get behind. This I can get behind. These wild dogs. But they did the wolves differently than they did the other animals. So. They made them like have a bunch of different kinds of colors they can spawn with, which is really cool. I think the way they handled the wolves is actually really, really neat, but, and these guys look like African wild dogs, which is pretty cool. And then there's bees! Oh, this is such a cute little place. That's an interesting take. I haven't read the Logic Ascents, but that's a really interesting take. I need to catch up on Deleuze. I will be honest, I do not read a lot of Deleuze outside of, you know, his pairings with Guattari. And I really should because, you know, well, Guattari was reading him, so maybe I should too. It's just that he's really tough. And I'm like an outsider, you know? So, like, what kind of texts I'm attracted to are going to be totally different. And as a result, yeah... it's tough for someone like me, but I'm learning, you know, so, and I'm hoping that I can try to spend more time once, because, like, okay, so good news, you know how I've been talking about that, like, document builder thing? I finally got it working the way I want it today, right? So, hopefully I can get that started and finish my next video. I have been audio editing a little bit here and there, so I have like 9 minutes done so far. But, was that the dog? I guess it is. I thought first it was like a weird illager or something. I'm like, oh, I fucking hate those things. Yeah, well, that's part of the problem. Like, it's kind of hard to admit this, but, like, I think the reason why I'm attracted to Guattari is because, like, I'm a very disorganized person. So, like, I can relate to this really disorganized way of writing and this, like, totally just blah, 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 blah. And it's really funny because when they write together, you can totally tell when Deleuze is just like, okay, here, take the mic. Because, like, the tone goes from, like, being, like, this very, like, intelligent, sophisticated, challenging writer to, like, his autistic best friend. It's great. He is a lot more structured. I wouldn't say structuralist, but he's definitely a lot more structured in his writing. I was reading the DOS intersecting lives thing again, and it was funny because I was reading reviews of Anti-Oedipus, and there's this one person who was like, I've worked with Felix, and he's great, he's fantastic, but I cannot understand what the fuck he's writing about. And I'm like, wow, nothing's changed. Like, I think I've said this before in this stream, but, like, the reason why I'm into this shit is because it's genuinely some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, the fact that this guy exists. And he's not even, like, trying to be funny. He's not, like, a comic relief. He's just like an anime character in real life. You mean Deleuze and Guattari? I mean, they pair really well with each other. It is kind of funny though how like this really sharp, kind of like sophisticated guy who's like kind of intimidating, honestly, because he's so well read, but he's also just kind of like a chill explainer, and he's got like a sharp tongue. Like, he's not just a pussy like some of these guys. He actually has some, like his like, I have read I don't remember the name of it, but the piece that Deleuze wrote about Palestine and like the politics of the 1980s. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I have read that, and it's really good. So he wasn't like one of these like ivory tower guys who was like, oh, I'm tough, but like, oh, when it actually comes push to shove, I'm just gonna be like a pussy. But so that's probably a big part of the reason why they work so well together, because like but yeah, a big thing for me is like a lot of people just don't realize that Guattari was like this totally different person than what people have in their minds of what kind of person he was. Like, he's not some weird esoteric mystic. He's a dork. He's autistic like you. I mean, he's not like autistic, like, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't feel comfortable saying he's necessarily autistic, because it's just like, that's a very time contextualized thing. So it's like, I feel like you should be diagnosed with autism or have a certain relationship with being potentially diagnosed with autism. Not like saying that, self-diagnosis isn't real, but like, self-diagnosis is still contextualized around a medical diagnosis. So like, it's kind of unfair to say that about a dead person, but like, he's got the neurodiverse vibes. That's what I'm trying to get at. And like, when you realize that about him, and then you start reading his shit, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is why, okay. Yeah, they go really well together. That's the thing. It's like they're just total opposites that go really well together. And it's like really funny too, because it works really well in their writing, but there's other parts in their lives where it really doesn't. Like when Deleuze is visiting Laborde, that's the classic story with the schizophrenic who was lighting the place on fire. That's a good one. And I hate it when people are like rude about Deleuze in this situation. It's like, I think people forget that Deleuze had like literally a disability. He couldn't breathe. And in like every historical account mentions how weak and sickly he was. And yet people are like, oh, I can't believe that he hated being around schizophrenics. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but if I was somebody who could barely move, I could barely breathe, and I found out that somebody set fire to the building I was in, I'd be pretty upset too. That place is fire, yeah. I like to imagine that they're like about to like eat, right? And then like somebody just walks in and they're just like, yes, he set the foyer on fire. We have to take it out now. And they're like, everybody just gets up, and Deleuze is just sitting there like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, that's the thing that people forget too, that Deleuze was disabled, like deaf, like really quite considerably disabled, and I think like people don't think about it because he didn't really have like a device that he carried around him a lot that like made him look like a disabled person, so they don't think consciously like, oh, he's a disabled person. I don't know if he used a cane in his last few years of life, but like, if you actually read the historical accounts, it's like, no, he was actually a really sickly person, and he was really slow, and he was always struggling to breathe, and all this shit, and it's just like, it's crazy. There's even critiques of Deleuze and Guattari that say that they're ableist, that literally forgets this about it, and it's like, come on. I'm not gonna pretend that like there isn't ableism associated with Deleuze and Guattari. Like, there's a big problem with, ever since they released their material, that there's people who pretend to be schizophrenic, And that's a really complicated question. Like, what does it even mean to pretend to be schizophrenic? In my opinion, and I'm just going to say it right now, like, to people who think that, Deleuze and Guattari are saying that you should become schizophrenic, first off, they contested this ever since they published Anti-Oedipus. That's not what Anti-Oedipus is about. But second, like, if you try to do that, you're putting yourself in a risky situation. You might actually go crazy, and no joke. And like, that is not something that is easy to deal with, and it's also not something that's cheap to deal with. So yeah, maybe don't do that. Yes, that's right. That would actually be a really interesting like thing to research, like the internalized ableism surrounding Deleuze. It's weird because ableism and Deleuze is like a subject that like nobody talks about. Like nobody. It's like I don't think anybody researching Deleuze is researching the subject. Yo, send me money so that I can stay off the street so I can research Deleuze and ableism before Trump defunds everything and blows up the world in World War III or whatever. There probably is with regards to Buddhism, but I genuinely do not know enough about Buddhism to even speak. I will say this, theology, religion, and different kind of like stuff like that. And I know Buddhism isn't really theology, so to speak, but just kind of like that sphere, like I'm less familiar with. I honestly should read more like Eastern philo. And I will say this, I don't read a lot of Eastern philo just because I don't read enough philo in general. People have criticized me for reading mostly Guattari, and like when it comes to philo, yeah, I should read more. It's not true that I only read Guattari, but it's mostly because like I kind of, like I said, I think I said this last episode, but I kind of see myself as a Guattari historian. So... But yes, James, you're completely right about that distinction. That's the thing that I don't understand. I think that people just aren't reading the text. Like, I haven't finished the book, I'll admit that. That's why I get a little anxious when people ask me about it, because I'm more familiar with ATP, honestly. But, like, what I've read, there's no indication of that. And if they're just reading the first, like... If you're reading the first, like, chapter, part 1 or whatever... there's no way you're going to read that and then be like, yeah, that means I should be schizophrenic. Like, no, that's not what they're saying. It's pretty obvious that's not what they're saying. In fact, you would not come to that conclusion unless you were, like, just assuming that's what the book was about, honestly. It's actually really annoying when people tell me also that it's, like, not a good model for understanding schizophrenia. Like, it's a complicated model. It's hard to understand. It's hard to grasp. But like, I've found like Guattari to be very helpful with managing my psychosis, bipolar, all that shit. That's part of what interests me about it in my relationship with technology and ecology and stuff like that. Oh, that's right. I went this way. I came back. Heh. You know, you say that, Dragon, but there was somebody in my server, and no offense to this person, because they were really nice about it, but, like, they were straight up just like, well, I should be able to use ChatGPT to, familiarize myself with things, and it's like, you gotta understand that people actually do see, like, ChatGPT as, like, a potential accessibility tool, which is, like, to me, that just infuriates me. Like, to me, I think that a big part of accessibility is not just, like, oh, we should just have a possibility just because it can happen, right? Like, okay, yeah, we could use ChatGPT, but is that really an efficient use of our tools, or could we do something better? Because autistic people have been using other tools for, at least several decades, and that are established. And what does ChatGPT really offer that those don't? Or what is it really revolutionizing? And a lot of those people just can't answer that question. And I think that it's like a really, I don't know who's been suggesting this. It's probably some fucking list wrong asshole. But this idea has kind of spread in certain autistic communities and it just pisses me off. Because it's like, in my opinion, if your accessibility is like going to be that damaging to the environment, then like screw you. Like, at least like if you're gonna have like something that has a high impact on the environment, it should be something like, you know, maybe like the plastics that are in like medically necessary like devices and stuff. Like if you need like a feeding tube, like I get it, you're gonna need a feeding tube and you're gonna need to change it and it's gonna need to be manufactured in a way that may not be environmentally friendly. But like an autistic person doesn't need to use ChatGPT. Like they're not gonna die if they don't use it. They're not. There's many other paths to Rome in that particular instance. Post-phrenology literature, it's a really cool field in my opinion. It's basically phrenology of... It sounds very interesting, but I have not heard of it. Honestly, like, you don't have to join the Discord server, but if you send me a couple DMs about this stuff on Discord, I would appreciate it. It's just that, I still haven't figured out how to save the fucking chats. And also, wait, how much have I stolen? Okay. I love that's how I speak. How much have I stolen? Don't mind me, just a... Ooh, another one of these. I love when these spawn. These, like, blocks of water in villages. Is this another one? Nah. Don't break this one. This one's special. Ugh. Punish Felix imperialism arc, yeah. Well, you see, I joked about this in an earlier episode, but I'm actually descended from, like, a Scottish clan of, like, raiders and shit. So I'm just doing what my family did for hundreds of years, I guess. It's... Yeah, like, I don't like Discord very much. I might end up opening like an IRC or a Matrix server if I can get the resources. Oh, more. Cool. But it's a good place at least to like share like posts and stuff and like ideas and like this is what I'm reading. You don't have to participate in the discourse every day. Like there's an active community of like certain people who post like every other day or whatever, but you don't have to be one of those people. There's a lot of people who just like post like, oh, I found this like once like every few months or something, and it's cool. I like that because then it can always surprise us. Oh no. See, I will admit this, at least my family, at least that side of my family was abolitionist in America. So like I am very unlikely to have any like slave owner blood in my bloodline, at least for the last like 250 years or so. So that's good. But there's definitely other Scottish clans that can't say that. But I don't even know if I'm a member of the clan. I don't really care. My that's like my Bob was like way too into that shit, and I was just like, what the fuck? What do you mean by like self-betterment? I'm generally pretty skeptical of like self-help in general. But I think what really helped me with like Deleuze and Guattari, just like as like learning as a person or developing as a person or whatever, really wasn't like that they told me anything to help me. It was more just like one, it was understanding the history of my own mental illness and understanding that like it wasn't just like, oh, I'm a crazy person, but also like, hey, there's a whole political battle that still exists, you know, it's just that it's been suppressed and this is what really happened and shit. And I don't really think that, like, I think that, like, just in general with the subject of self improvement, it really has to come, like, I guess from yourself, you know? Like, you can't just read it in a book. But yeah, like, what helped me with Guattari specifically, and the reason why I'm really into him, is because he, like, grounded my experiences in a historical political battle that was very radical. You know, people, like, nowadays, when you get diagnosed with a mental illness, you're basically put on meds and you go into these, like, you go to these support groups and they're just depressing as all fuck. Like, honestly, like, okay, like, everybody wants to go and act like the meds are so bad or whatever, and, like, yeah, okay, I don't take meds, but and I've done quite well not taking meds. I'm actually doing quite well and managing things well, but like, it's not the meds that are even a problem. Like, the meds, it's like, whatever, you know, if you need them to stabilize, that's what you need, right? The goal shouldn't be getting off meds. The goal should be being stable and being comfortable with who you are, right? Meds are a tool to potentially reach that. And, like, part of my struggle really is I feel like I'm not allowed to have that autonomy over myself, even though I can demonstrate, like, I can handle myself without, you know, without them, right? And I've done quite well for myself for an extended period of time. But, no, the problem is not the meds. The problem is, like, you the culture that you're exposed to once you, like, fucking get diagnosed with psychosis. It's just like everybody's just like, yep, time to just put the towel in and treat your life like it's over. And, like, when you're met with that, it's fucking awful. Like, you know, you look at these online support groups and, like, no offense to these people, like, you gotta do what you gotta do to get through the day, but, like, it's weird because it feels like you can't relate to these people at all. You don't know if it's because their struggle is way worse than yours or if they just handle it differently, because it feels like when you go through it, it's really intense on its own. But what Guattari did was, it gave me an alternative to that. You know, it made me realize, hey, there was this hospital in France that operated differently. And I remember when I was crazy, I was thinking to myself, wow, I really wish I was at Laborde. You know, I feel like I could recover if I was able to be at Laborde. Trump did what? Oh, great. Now what? Are we gonna fucking die? Did he drop a nuke or something? What? Donald Trump, what did he do? Okay, he's attacking Iran nuclear sites. Is that what's going on? Oh, he's starting war with Iran. Great. Oh, fucking hell. I hate this fucking shit. Well, hopefully I'll be around in 5 years. That's all I'm gonna say to that. I really hope I can go to France one day to pay my respect to Guattari, but every fucking idiot on this planet seems to want to make sure that doesn't happen. I don't know why. Maybe I should do, like, a Felix Goes to Paris fund just to, like, get a plane, and they'll be like, Han, what are you doing here? And I'll be like, I'm here to visit one particular place in Paris. They're like, you're not going to do anything else in Paris? I'm like, okay, I might do, like, one other thing in Paris, but I don't really want to make this, like, a tourist destination. Oh, God, I know, right? Especially anybody who's... Okay, so pro tip, any trans men watching this right now, you should be aware that you should, if you are between the ages of 18 and 25, do not fucking change your gender marker. I don't care how much of a dude bro you want to be. Don't fucking do it, because the moment you do, you're gonna have to be fucking drafted, okay? Don't fucking do it. And I know they're gonna say, oh, but, like, I'm a trans person. They're gonna not let me in anyway. That's not necessarily true. So I would not do it. I would not do it. Besides, they're already like dude, they're already using that to track people. So don't do it anyway. That's the reason why I didn't change. Like, it sucks in certain ways because, like, yeah, employers discriminate against me, and it's part of the reason why it's really hard for me to find a job right now. But you know what? They're gonna have to do a little bit more digging and find out that this man has girl parts. It really depends. Lol, yeah, transphobia might save your life. Well, probably not for long. Let's get real. Yeah, you're not gonna go to that grinder. You're gonna just go to the other one. Probably like a prison. Who even knows if it's gonna be in America? Do schizos or autistics get drafted? Well, you do have to do a medical evaluation, and that includes mental health, so probably no. Autistics, maybe. Probably not, though. I don't know very much about the military. That would be a question to ask somebody who has been in the military. Which, by the way, remember, leftists, it's not a good idea to go and alienate veterans. Remember to respect veterans, because they have a lot of very interesting information to tell. Sometimes all you need to do is just, you know, let a guy have their place to talk, you know? You'd be surprised what people will say just if you just let them talk. I don't want to go into too many details, but there's definitely been times, and this was before I even like was politically interested in anything. I was just a gamer, but there's definitely been times where people have told me things they definitely shouldn't have, which is really funny. And I realized it like the other day. I was like, wait a second, that incident that happened like 10 years ago, like, is that even what? I swear to God, like this. I wonder why this channel attracts so many people diagnosed with schizophrenia. Well, oh yeah, that's right. I think I know. I think I remember who you are in the server, so I already know that about you. But I don't really need this wall. Yeah, and a lot of and some veterans are even like, you got to be always careful with veterans and former army people. Like, I'm always like, if they're like associated with anything that's even remotely close to defense, I'm always a little bit careful. But like, if you just give a platform for somebody to speak, they will speak. You know, that's what I'll say about that. Oh, it's gonna be fucking horrible. They're probably just gonna do a bunch of bullshit drone strikes right now, but Israel's probably gonna do some on the ground shit. I'm not looking forward to this. It's gonna be horrible. Well, honestly, anybody who is looking forward to it should be publicly shamed. Can't believe I put it that way. That's a stupid way to put it. My brain is... yeah. See, it's funny, I'm not I think you already know this, Driftish, but yeah, I'm not diagnosed schizophrenic, I'm diagnosed bipolar, but I'm probably, like, maybe schizoaffective, who knows. I should put my shit down and actually, like, make some stuff, like, cook this iron and, like, make a bucket. Because I could use a bucket. It kind of pisses me off that they call it MLG, though. Like, come on. I get it. You're gamers, but you're playing Minecraft. Is that really... yes, it is gaming. Oh, my God. Gaming. There's the two kinds of gaming. Minecraft and war crimes. Sometimes both at the same time. Yeah, there's definitely some good ones. I think people just, like... assume shit because they're stupid and terminally online and they don't like to talk to people. And like, I get like struggling to talk with people. Like, I have a lot of, I don't tell people this, but I have a lot of issues with like socialization and stuff, and I get really self-conscious about it because like I'm dealing with like being, I mean, people, it's weird with the autism thing. Like, I actually don't know if I'm technically diagnosed with autism because like I was diagnosed as part of a research study, which is really funny. So instead of having to pay an absurd amount of money to be diagnosed with autism, like most people, I got paid to be diagnosed with autism, which is really funny. But I was part of a research study, and I'm not sure how valuable that is as an actual diagnosis. Could be. Like, some people treat it as a diagnosis, and I know that some people who have met me who work in psychiatry were like, yeah, you're very autistic acting. So it doesn't really matter either way. I'm adjacent at the very least. And, like, I also deal with, like, paranoia and, like, issues with, like, understanding other people. And, like, sometimes it, like, see, like, one of the things that has really changed my life ever since, like, going crazy was, it's really hard for me to, consistently understand what people are saying. So, like, it's not just that you're paranoid, but it's also that, you misinterpret people constantly. And that leads to a lot of problems, and I feel pretty guilty about it, honestly, because it's like, I don't try to be, like, this fucked up person, but it just accumulates over time. Ooh, look, emeralds. That's always fun. I don't need these stupid flowers. Oh, wait, shit, I need an iron pickaxe for that. But good thing I have iron. I can do that. I could get diamonds. I could get fucking diamonds. But I don't have any wood. I need to go and chop down a tree. More iron. Yeah, I know, right? I only got paid $25, so it wasn't like that much. But it was part of a research study, and usually they pay you for your time. So. That's the thing I don't understand about, like, free market libertarians. They're just like, okay, we should have a free market, but we should also have a cop state. And it's like, okay, so how do you think we got here? Like, how do you think all this happened? And it's like, just admit that you guys wish you were the ones on top and you just were born a generation too late. That's why you're libertarians. Like, am I right or am I right? And also, like, half of these people also want to be libertarians because they don't want the government to tell them that it's illegal to have certain kinds of relations with children. We know the type. We all know the type. Oh my god. But what if it was your boyfriend in high school and you found out later? I'm just saying, that's something that I've experienced. It was, yeah. $25 is $25. It's good earning money. I will say this, when it came to autism and hormone replacement therapy, I lucked the fuck out. I got diagnosed with autism and I got paid for it. And with HRT, I'm not going to say who, but I was able to hook up with a particular doctor who basically just would be like, yeah, we'll just say that you passed WPATH, you're ready. We know endocrinologists who don't give a shit. And this was before everybody was like, ooh, Dr. Powers, because I used to live a Felix doxing moment, but I used to live actually within driving distance of Dr. Powers. I could have totally gone to him, and I knew people in my personal life who did, but I always kind of found him as a little weird. He kind of felt like, I don't know, it's a little weird when a cis person is that into that kind of shit, you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it. Oh, God, I can't stand the free market libertarian people. And all they're doing anyway is scamming everybody. So it's just like, oh wow, look at you, your economy. It only works because you guys were the ones who are scamming everyone else. And it's kind of stupid because it doesn't even function as an actual economy. Like, at least, like, the neoliberal project functions as, like, an economic goal. Like, free market libertarianism doesn't even work. Like, they could go and bitch as much as they want about how socialism doesn't work, but even the USSR functioned way more than a fucking free market, like, totally unregulated free market would. Because the moment you unregulate the market, you turn everyone into stupid, dumb addicts who are literally transferring all of their value. Like, yeah, it's just awful. Stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life. But, yeah, I used to live near Dr. Powers, and that guy is kind of weird. But if you don't know anything about trans lore, he is kind of well known as a guy who is... Oh, great, I didn't even pick up the wood. Let me go find the wood. I gotta go get a woody. Oh, there's sticks. That's convenient. Where's the wood? Where's the damn wood at? I need a damn... Oh, that's right. I turned the wood into charcoal. Oh my god. I'm really Minecrafting tonight. Oh yeah, you can absolutely be a scam artist under socialism too. I'm not saying it's like perfect. I'm more so saying that like free market libertarianism just literally has no function, like as an economic model. Like it's genuinely the stupidest one. Like this is why like people make fun of Ayn Rand and shit. But that goes for the other economists that I don't know because I don't give a shit about what kind of white men that white men adore. So. Oh, what am I doing? I want that. Thank you. Alright. Now I can get those emeralds. I can get the chaos emeralds. But yeah. Like, at least socialism and neoliberalism, both as economic models, are trying to achieve something. Like, whether or not you think that it's the right thing to do or the ethical thing to do is another question. But, like, at least you can argue, yeah, these are two things trying to do something. Even, like, an anarchist economy, I would say, is trying to achieve something. It's not necessarily effective, in my opinion. I think anarchism has, like, interesting ideas for certain things, but I wouldn't want to have an economy based on it. Sorry. But I think anarchism is, like, the most interesting when it comes to, like, discussions of, like, the micro-political stuff. Like, they seem to have their... Some of them seem to have their head on the ground a lot more than some of the more economic-oriented leftists. I know. Well, that's the thing. They don't understand, like, mutual aid. They don't understand, like, the idea that people would just help people because they want to help people. Like, that's why, like, they think that, like, the solution to all of the problems that they've introduced to, like, Africa and shit is to, like, tell these people what to do. Because they don't understand that people will help themselves, right? And, like, if you really want to help these people, you need to give them access to the tools to, you know, not only be modern, but also be sustainable. You know? And essentially what we have done, and what these, like, effective altruists don't want to admit, including, and especially, their activities now, like, stuff like, I don't think I'm not sure. Like, it's not... I don't think Bill Gates is an effective altruist for sure, but I think he is adjacent. Like, he's kind of like an older philanthropist from that circle. And the thing that's interesting is that Bill Gates, I think, is a really good demonstration of why these, like, tech bros are not about tech, right? I've been thinking about this, right? And like the reason why we're so fixated on the technology, right, is because it is the product of this mentality that is produced by these guys. Like, yes, AI is bad, right? But why is it bad? And I think that's a question that most people can't answer. Like, I think that's a question that people can only answer on like a surface level, like, oh, it's bad because it takes away my job, or like it's bad because this or that. And the thing is that AI isn't even really taking away your job. It's not that that's taking away your job. It's business owners who don't value what you produce as a human being because they're just looking to make money. I feel like you're right about that. Like the problem with Desire right now is like, so like something I really like about Cinema of Desire as an essay is that Cinema of Desire actually has a really interesting argument against freedom of speech, right? And Guattari basically argues that if you just open the valves of desire and just let people do whatever they want, they're just going to repeat the same structures, except now it's not repressed, right? Now it's just all over the place, right? So he actually is arguing against just opening the gates, right? Because in that essay he's talking about pornography, but it applies to many other things. It's a really genius piece of work. I wish I read it sooner, honestly, but yeah, pretty much. Like, well, not just that. It's not just selling people that they're solving problems, but it's also putting power in certain people's hands. That's why it's like really important from a disabled activism perspective to be very critical of effective altruists, because they are trying to take power and autonomy away from us and also away from institutions that actually produce value for disabled people. And while the medical institution is a very complicated subject that has many issues with it, right, I would much rather have medicine than what these people are pitching, that they want to replace all of the resources that we currently use in society to produce medicine. I just don't like the idea of like I don't like the framing of altruism in general. I think like that's part of the problem that I have with like the selfish gene too. Like I don't think that altruism is a very useful way to model like social relations and like, you know, just kindness and generosity. Like to me, altruism I think reflects a lot on the people who promote it, you know, because like the promote the idea. So instead of promoting kindness or generosity or even mutual aid, these people are promoting specifically altruism, right? And think about what altruism is. Like, for example, in the context of the selfish gene, altruism is contrasted with the value of selfish, right? And what Dawkins argues is that, and I think he's actually kind of right about this, that altruism as a subject, right, is rooted in selfish desires, right? And for that reason, why are we promoting altruism, right? Why are we not promoting something like mutual aid, where mutual aid in its like structure of its definition is about helping others. Like it's undeniably about helping other people. Yes, exactly. On the what words do and the refrains, like that's the thing. Like and I thought about this a lot. I realized this a lot. So back in the 2018 2019, I'm sure a lot of people remember this. But there was a lot of memes that were getting popular about saying the N word, and like kind of like the whole joke was kind of like based on the tension of like saying a slur and the excitement of saying a slur, and it was in many ways it was like it opened a lot of people's it opened up a lot of people towards being racist. Like they were liberals before, and then they got exposed to this meme, which no doubt was probably like planned by racists. And then they were like, "Oh, actually, saying the N word is funny now because we're making a joke out of it. The joke is that we're being censored and we're going to be censored for saying it. There's going to be extreme consequences or whatever. Like the joke is based on the situation." And like the thing that I really realized with this meme and how I developed as a person, especially with like understanding my position with the discourse surrounding race as a white person, was like realizing like, wait a second, the reason why it's harmful is because words don't just exist. Like they have a historical context, and like the N-word is like one of the most obvious examples of this. Like, I mean, subwords, it's like, oh, you have to go into some deep like lore to figure out how it was conceived, but like everybody knows the history of that word in America if you're basically an adult. Like nobody can really play stupid about that. If you're black or white, you know that shit, right? You know what's going on with that shit. You there's no question about what's being said and what's being repeated. Like everyone fucking knows. So like what are you really repeating? What are you really doing? And that's a question that a lot of people don't like to ask with regards to freedom of speech. And that's very evident because what ends up happening with when you like do the freedom of speech bullshit like to the extreme, right? Like obviously I'm not suggesting that like governments should monitor our speech on everything, and they're already doing that. Like you don't have freedom of speech right now. You haven't had freedom of speech this whole time you've been fucking alive. Especially Zoomers, like you were literally born after 9/11. You've never had freedom of speech. Just bottom line. Just saying it right now. But yeah, exactly. Like altruism is about charity. It's about being a better person. It's about using your wealth to help people. And like that's so condescending when you're disabled, because at the end of the day, like the only reason why these people even help disabled people is either to, one, we're getting trickled down economics based bullshit basically through like our healthcare, and so either that, or we're getting just like we're being used as a symbol. And that's something that I really fucking hate. It's so common, and when you call people out on it, they're like, what are you talking about? We're doing good. It's like, no, I know what this is about. This is about saying we're cool because we like Crips. I mean, to this day, people will just be like, oh, we don't want to do that. That's for cripples. They won't say that word. Ha! Yeah, I know. That's so funny that you say that. I mean, I was on a plane before 9/11. I was in Japan in the 90s. So, like, I don't remember it very well, but there was a time when I was on a plane pre-TSA. Pretty crazy. My parents got pulled aside a few years later after 9/11. I can't remember why. I think it's because my dad is an immigrant, actually. And the funny thing is, he's British. Like, he's like the whitest immigrant ever. But he's still an immigrant, so he still gets bullshit. But because he's a fucking Britoid, he fucking like actually loves the immigration policies, even though he gets like he's got a green card, so he doesn't really care that much about it. Because he's like, oh, well, I'm here legally, and I got all my legal documents. But he's literally been threatened with violence because he speaks with an accent. And he's just like, no, actually, you know what? Racism bucks? That's good. That's good. Keep doing it. I'm British. I fucking hate anybody who's not British. Even French people. Especially French people. I'm British. I think that if my mom and dad found out that, like, I run a channel now about a French philosopher, they'd both just, like, have their brains explode. My mom was actually, like... Okay, so I normally wouldn't say this about, like, French people, just because, like, you know, French people really aren't that much better than British people, quite honestly, and, like, The good ones know that's true. Like, we're kind of on the losers bracket. But, my mom was, like, straight up racist against French people, and it was really fucking weird. Like, I don't even know how it's possible, but she was, like, straight up racist to French people. She was, like, I remember one time, we were watching the BBC, and because my mom wanted to be a Brit bong really bad because she's a fucking idiot. Yeah, that's because British people are annoying. My dad is not even one of the worst ones. He's just like, he's literally like the kind of guy you'll find in a pub. That's like his vibe. He's literally Barry from the pub. Polluted water. Oh, pollinated water. Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what's going on now. But yeah, no, Brits are like the last thing you want in your country with colonialism taken into consideration. Like, look at what they fucking did to India. Jesus Christ. And they won't take any fucking, like, acceptance for the fact that India is the shithole that it is today because of them. Like, 100% because of them. Like, you'll point out, like, all this crazy, like, historical facts about how, like, the Indian, like, subcontinent was, like, this super fertile, like, shit and had all this, like, thousands of years of culture that goes back and back and back, and then, like, the British people come in and they fuck it all up. And then they're like, oh, but they're all a bunch of Hindu nationalists now. It's like, yeah, why do you think that is? Where do you think they got that idea from, huh? I'm not saying that they were innocent before. Nobody really was. Innocence is a stupid, made-up, man-made concept. But, like, British people just like, Jesus Christ. And no, French people are not much better. But, yeah, no, my mom was, like, really racist against French people because she loved British shit. She thought, like, British imperialism in the Victorian era were the coolest thing ever because they were British, which is just, like, so lame. Like, it's so unbelievably lame. Like, oh my god, she was, I hated that. She dragged me into it. She was awful. I feel like if the series goes on long enough, people will start to, like, learn the family lore and realize, like, oh my god, what the actual flipping fuck? You grew up with what? Just, like, fun fact, PF's parents are completely insane. That's kind of, I'm like the most sane person in that particular family, in my opinion, and they will definitely disagree with me on that assertion, but you know what? I'm doing way better in my life in terms of, like, how happy I am, so whatever. Yep. Oh, I already went to this one. Son of a bitch. Ah! Maybe not that one, though. There's a giant lava on there. But, yeah. It is just funny to think about, though, because, I'm pretty sure that, my mom would just straight up lose it if she found out that, like, oh yeah, I'm now, like, really into this French guy, remember? Okay, can I tell you something crazy? Alright, so, like, most people know about, like, postmodernism disrobed because they heard about it, like, people talking about it in, like, graduate school or whatever. But I remember when I was, like, I want to say, like, 4 or 5 years old or something, right? When that got published, because my mom said to me randomly one day, like, she just said to me out of the blue, she never talked about this ever again. She's just like, yeah, so scientists proved that postmodernism isn't real. And I'm like fucking 5 years old. I don't even know what the fuck she's talking about. And it's really weird because I remember this because it was right outside the fridge. It's so weird when I put it together and I realized, like, oh my god, she was talking about fucking the Sokol affair, what the fuck? And now I'm like, yeah, now I run a YouTube channel about one of those guys who the scientists said is fake and gay. I mean, Guattari was definitely gay, but... Oh yeah, that's the thing. That's why Freud got his money. That's why Freud got so well known, because every family's fucked. How do I remember stuff from when I was a kid? Is that a thing with like Zoomers now? Like they don't remember their childhood? Man, your childhoods must be really traumatizing. Um, but no, I was always fascinated with memories. So like certain memories from my childhood, I would just try to hold on to, and I've been able to remember things from when I was very young. Not like, but like the thing that's crazy is that in my generation, I wasn't even that good at remembering things from my early childhood. Like there are some people who would claim that they remembered things from when they were 1 years old, which I don't remember at all. And like it's really weird to hear like people say like, "Oh, I don't remember anything from being 5 years old." How can you remember anything from being 5 years old? It's like, what? Really? You don't remember being 5 years old? I mean, I remember. I don't remember a lot. Don't get me wrong, but I think there was a period where I remembered more from being like 3 to 5 years old than I remembered from my teens, because my teens were super traumatic, and like a big part of why I went crazy was because I completely blanked out on my teens, and when my brain started realizing that shit was going on there, and started remembering all the memories, it like really fucked me up. So, fun fact. I do feel like the rise of the internet and media and stuff in the last 30 years is like completely changing how children develop, and I think that's a big part of like what actually is establishing like differences in like different generations. Like generations were developed initially as like a marketing thing, right? But as over time, what has really established them, I think, is really the media that the market is trying to shape around people, and that's why we're seeing a lot of the looping shit, the looping fucking media shit, like the nostalgia wave that originally originated in the late 2000s was kind of fun at first, because it was like when I was a kid, I didn't get to play with like the Nintendo 64. I only had a PlayStation 1, and I had an NES. So the NES was very nostalgic for me, and the Game Boy was nostalgic for me, and stuff like that. And people started to talk about it again, and it was like, oh, cool. So these things that I was interested this whole time, that people stopped being interested in for the most part, because they're kind of like fads, and then they got older and they grew up while I was still kind of autistic about Pokemon. Then they got back into it, and then it just became this like awful repetition machine. Like I'm still fascinated by Pokemon, and I know that like if the Guatarian Old Guard found out that like one of the people that really talks about like Guattari a lot of the time does so in the context of Pokemon and Sonic the Hedgehog, they'd probably be really embarrassed and maybe even upset. But like what I would have to say to them is just that, one, that's kind of the discourse of my generation, but also two, like I know you don't understand. I got into it through like hacking and shit, like ROM hacking. Oh, hello, pig. And it's kind of interesting because I've kind of witnessed like how gamers and Nintendo fans and stuff have changed over time. I think I said this last time, but like the early 2000s were crazy for piracy. Like you had Kazaa and LimeWire, which I didn't get to use because my parents were like very oppressive over what I was allowed to use on the internet. But I think a lot of millennials have a story like that, honestly. Like their parents won't let them do something on the internet or something. Oh, there's another plateau I've been to before, but maybe not this one. Maybe not this one. You think Guattari would be down with Pokemon? I think, okay, I will say this. Personal opinion, I think Guattari would have been down with the first two generations. Especially Gen 2, because all the radio stuff. I think he would have been really interested in analyzing the radio stuff. Because, like, when I was psychotic, I was convinced that the unknown were, like, kind of like a residual, like, residue of, like, Guattari's influence on Japanese pirate radio. And I still kind of like this fan theory. I don't know if it's really true or not. I haven't really seen sufficient evidence to actually demonstrate that that's kind of like what Game Freak was going for. But I think it's very interesting that they have these like literal letter particles that talk to each other with radio waves. And like the people are literally going crazy trying to figure out what they do and shit. Like, it's very weird, and, like, they didn't go anywhere with it. I think they didn't go anywhere with it because, like, they had, like, this idea, and they thought it was really cool, but they didn't know how to make it, like, I guess, engaging for the player. And can I just say that I really hate when people just say that this gimmick is stupid and dumb, and I feel like people who say that just don't appreciate lore. Oh, look at this bad boy. Oh my gosh, now this is why we play Minecraft, people. Holy shit. Holy shit. The new cave generation is crazy, man. I love shit like this. I know it's not new anymore. It's like 4 years old at this point, but... What is time, anyway? What is that? What the hell is this? Oh, that's the scute from the armadillo. Okay. It's really only because the Bible has authority. Like, I think like Homestuck has the depth and sophistication possible for something like that, and I've seen people. I'm pretty sure that Homestuck cults exist, but it's largely political. The reason why Christianity is able to permeate so heavily. Actually, it's kind of funny. I'm gonna log off after this because it's almost 9:30 already, which I kind of didn't notice. Time flies. But I'll just count this as a plateau, because fuck it. Fuck it! I'm facializing this. You are now a plateau. You are now an X or a Y. I hope you understand this. 2 computers! But yeah, so sorry for taking so long with my next video. I am gonna promise I'm gonna start working on it again. I've probably finished about 9 minutes of audio editing so far. I do hit it a little bit, but it is just, yeah, I've been working on that zine builder thing, and that's very cool. I got it printed out today, and I finally got it working perfectly, and it looks so fucking good. Like, I can't, like, I'm gonna put these on my website so you can download them and print them yourself. Oh, fucking hell. So, yeah, you can print them yourself, but, you can also make your own with the software that I built for it. It's open source. I'll be providing the link when I upload my next video. It will be really cool. So, I think I'm gonna call it for tonight. That's not what Shadow the Hedgehog would do. You're right about that. Well, maybe he does apologize in the 3rd Sonic movie. He does apologize, so that's not true, but it is generally against his character. So, anyways, I will let you guys go. Look at me. Whoa.